Hey, it's Tree, and I'm back for another video. This is still weird for me, but it's day 2 of what I've started calling 100 Days of Wakefield Comics. And today, I thought it'd be fun to talk about my previous comics I've worked on and what happened to them. For context, I've kind of drawn all of my life, but I didn't start getting serious and saving my art until like 2010. I graduated high school in 2016, so I was around 13, and that was 7th grade for me. The first comic I ever drew was actually a small 2-page comic of a series that my friend at the time was drawing. Sadly, we're not friends anymore. I don't talk to her. But basically, her comic was about Stickman, and the Stickman had superpowers, and he was bald. So I created a character called Super Gothman, and his whole thing was like making fun of him for being bald, but also he had a sidekick named Emo Boy, and basically he didn't want to have him as a sidekick, and that was the whole thing. It was only like 2 or 3 pages. After that, maybe a year passed, I started getting into DeviantArt, and I probably found Smack G's from there. A lot of the artists I followed were basically like Aisha, Nico, Warrior Cats, but the next comic I made was like 4 pages at most, and it's a story that I only wrote a chapter of, and it didn't get that far, but basically it was about a guy discovering he was the king of hell. And then the next comic I only drew a page for, and it was about 2 dudes from hell going to the earth. And there's no script, but that was all it was. Sadly, I don't have any of this anymore. And then when I started freshman year of high school, I started getting into Tumblr, and at the time there was a lot of Ask blogs for different things. The ones that I mainly followed was about My Little Pony, and I created a comic about Trixie Lulamoon, and basically her winning and becoming an evil villain, basically. And again, I drew a lot more for this comic. I guess you could consider it a comic, I don't really know, but I drew a lot more of it, but I stopped drawing it because I got tired of drawing Trixie and My Little Pony characters, and a lot of drama was happening in the fandom, and I just wasn't about that life. So I gave up on comics again. And then some more years passed. My junior year of high school, maybe sophomore year earliest, I started drawing a comic with my then girlfriend, and it was basically about both of our OCs, and it was called Overgrown. And I believe we drew 5 pages of a prologue. It was meant to be a lot longer, and all I have left of that comic is basically just sketches in a sketchbook. And of course we broke up, and that's why we stopped drawing this comic. And we didn't really know what we were doing, and that's a large factor of why it didn't go that far. And when we started working on it, I was still drawing with the mouse. I didn't get my first tablet until 2015, and I'm still using the same tablet today. But it was very hard to draw comic pages using a mouse, so I was very happy to get my tablet when I did. But again, we broke up, and so I didn't get a chance to make any more comics at that point. There are a couple of comics that I wanted to do from that point to now, and again, they just didn't get that far. I did draw like some self comics for a little while, and some of them are still up on TreeSpright Doodles on my Tapas and Webtoons pages. Some of them aren't. I need to re-upload some of them to Webtoons, because a lot of them are just on Tapas and not Webtoons. And mostly the comics I drew for those was about my mental health, as well as other things that I just found kind of funny, and I haven't updated that comic in a while. But I actually had a comic I was gonna upload and I lost it, but that was all happened recently. So the comics that I was planning on doing from the time we broke up to now were mostly about my OCs, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And on top of that, I just didn't feel comfortable about my writing due to an experience that I had while I was still in high school, and I just didn't feel that good about my writing. So I approached Sunny about making a comic, and that was when Wakefield was born, basically. But again, we didn't really know what we were doing at first, and I feel like I've gotten the hang of it a lot better now, and I really enjoy the characters. I could probably upload another video showing off these comics. I don't know if I still have the one about Super Gothman anymore, but I definitely have the other ones, and I still have some of the plans from that short period of where I didn't know what I wanted to do with comics. But that's my entire experience with comics so far. I hope to make many more very soon. So let's talk about the visuals in this video. These took place during 2 1-hour sessions, so I worked on this for like 2 hours in all. So an hour of working on outfit references for chapter 3 and 4, and then an hour working on page 7 of chapter 2. The first outfit is the one for chapter 3, I want to say, and they are at a library. The next one is her outfit from after work, because she comes over in the beginning of chapter 3. And I was able to get the coloring done on both of these reference sheets, so that's good. I still have 2 more reference sheets to do of Emery and Frankie, and then I want to make a new icon for my Webtoons and Tapas pages, because the old one's just not doing it for me anymore. Page 7, I was able to get a lot of the line art done, and even an entire panel done in this process. But chapter 2 is mainly about them investigating what happened to Ray, where he went, and chapter 3 is mainly about them investigating the monster that takes place in this whole volume. Sorry about that, my voice was getting kind of dry, but I plan to have many more volumes done of Wakefield. There's not really an ending to Wakefield yet. It's basically like a long running series, and I'll probably work on it for as long as I want to work on it. Also apologize again because my cat's being super hyper and playing with toys. I don't know if you can hear that or not. So after chapter 2 and 3, I still need to do thumbnails and maybe a new outfit reference. I don't remember. But basically I work on Wakefield outfit references because it's one place for me to have all the colors, and it's nice to have that extra art there in case I want to post them to Instagram or something, but mainly they're just for me, so that way I have something to color pick from. So like I said, when I do a new chapter of Wakefield, I make new outfit references, and then I have to do thumbnails for chapter 4, but I have thumbnails done till chapter 3. Sometimes I like to draw small things so that way I can get a hang of drawing them. Like for example, then chapter 4 is probably going to include a house I haven't drawn before, and chapter 3 features a library, so I have to figure out what this library looks like, how the floor plan is laid out for where they're at, and it even features a book that might be a recurring thing, so I might need to plan how this book looks like and what the pages are like inside and develop a style for that. I know for the midpoint of chapter 1, I had to research how to draw couches and things like that. When they say you improve fast when you work on comics, they really mean it, because I've drawn so many things I would never thought to draw before. But once all of that is done, I begin working on new pages. The script for Wakefield is written by Sunny, and they've already finished Volume 1, and they're still working on Volume 2, as well as another comic we're planning on working on eventually. I don't really know the details about that much, but I plan to upload more videos, prepping and planning and things like that, if we do make a new series. On top of, like, designing the characters, I think it'd be fun to show the process of how I design characters and things like that. Again, I only upload Wakefield to Tapas and Webtoons right now, so if you have any more recommendations of places I could upload, I might start looking into them. I don't really know. I'd like Wakefield to reach a wider audience as of right now, and I've stopped uploading the comic entirely to Tumblr just because I don't find it worth my time. That's the shorthand version of it. I talked about it in my last video. I also talked about why it's been so long since I last uploaded in that same video. So overall, that's pretty much my day 2 in a nutshell. Remember to take breaks, and if you don't work on your comic, then no one else will, and your comic won't come out. And I'll see you for day 3 sometime. Again, the series is very soft, and I don't know how much I'm gonna do of this.